DraftKings has it at Stipe plus 110, Francis minus 130. This guy just can't get the respect, man. He's beat everybody. He's beat all the big names in the heavyweight division, including Francis Ngannou, and he still doesn't get the respect. But all the Stipe Miocic fans are making money out there, so good for them.
Meantime, Ngannou, has he shown you something since the last fight? To me, it looks like the same guy. If he, he's a big and strong and devastating, but I haven't seen him in a situation since the Stipe fight that made me think, oh, things are going to be different this time. What's your thought about the Ngannou we're going to see in the rematch?
Yeah, he's definitely a more well-rounded fighter. He's worked on his wrestling and his takedown defense, and listen, he's ripped through and knocked out some serious guys since he lost. But Stipe is going to be in his face. He's going to put that pressure on him that he's not used to. And I could tell yesterday at the press conference that Stipe is very confident. They've been working on something that they see in Francis's game. The question is, at his age and where he is now, can he go out and implement that game plan?
Let's talk about Stipe for a second. It's always been interesting to me, and we've talked about it before, even on this show. The kind of strategy in the UFC, it sort of combines the NBA and NFL in the sense that it's very star-driven, and yet it's also very brand-driven. If you see UFC, what that means, and you've survived the retirement and of a lot of big-name stars where people are like, well, what's the UFC going to do after this guy's not there? And you keep rolling. With that in mind, what does Stipe mean? One of the most consistent heavyweight champions you've had. Usually light heavy's been the glamour division, but he's been consistent in the biggest weight class. What has he meant to the UFC?
Yeah, no, he's very important to us. He's going to go down in history as the greatest heavyweight of all time, and he's put on some of the most monumental, incredible performances ever in the history of the company. He's very important, very important. And I'm all about guys who love to be the world champion and want to be the best and want to challenge themselves against the best, and him taking on Cormier 3 times and literally facing the entire heavyweight division and then agreeing to come back. He was just, everybody is finally, they're not giving him the respect of the sports books, but the fans and the media are finally giving him the respect after he beat Cormier again, that he is the best heavyweight ever. He could have retired after that. Could have retired and rode off into the sunset with all the accolades that he was getting. No, he's going to go out and he's going to try to face this big, bad monster again in Francis Ngannou. I love it, respect it, and he's one of the all-time greats, and he's been amazing for us.
Overeem, Dos Santos, Verdum, Ngannou, Cormier twice, and I got the feeling Cormier was a little lucky to win that first fight. I mean, it was a sneaky right hand, but I don't know. Look, he's been excellent, but has not captured the imagination of the public the way Jon Jones has. Maybe no one has in terms of his greatness at that size. If Jon Jones is going to keep his head on straight and successfully make this move to heavyweight, what are your thoughts about whoever wins this fight, the winner against John Bones Jones for the heavyweight championship of the world?
Yeah, Jones has been training, for this moment for a while now. He's been putting on weight. He's been lifting weights and preparing to move up to heavyweight. So I'm sure he'll be watching closely on Saturday night, and then whoever wins, we'll figure out when this fight happens. I'm assuming what makes the most sense is Jones versus the winner sometime in the fall.
Dana, this is going to be a sellout in Jacksonville, and what strikes me about that is, number one, sports are back, the fans are back. It also strikes me a lot of COVID in Florida, and a sellout means not the same kind of social distancing. Why the choice to go for a sellout, and what precautions will be taken?
Well, let me start here. It's already sold out. It's sold out in minutes. Right. And we broke the arena record. So people are excited to be back. And when you talk about COVID cases, there's 143 cases in Jacksonville right now. There's about 1 million people that live in Jacksonville, and there's 143 cases. So I'm feeling confident.
Khabib recently told you he's done for good. And you seem to come out of that last meeting like, okay, He's given me his answer, and we have to move on. But, Dana, you've been around the fight game, not just in MMA, but boxing before that, a long time. Marvin Hagler died recently, the great middleweight champion. He was one of the very, very few to just walk away when he was still great and turn down all the money. You think we've seen the last of Khabib in the octagon?
I do. You know, I chased this guy around for a few months and tried to get him to stick around. And, you know, a lot of these guys, when you've seen them come back, it's always been financial. This guy is not going to have any financial problems anytime soon. So I think he really has retired. I don't think we'll see him again. And, yeah, he's never going to need the money.
All right, well, I wanted to ask you something else, but since we're on that topic, you recently said that the Mount Rushmore of the UFC, and Mount Rushmore is always about who you leave off, not who you put on, right? You said it's Royce Gracie. Get that? The Gracie brothers sent them to show everyone about BJJ. Look at this little dude. He can beat everybody. Amanda Nunes. Get that, boy. She's the greatest female MMA practitioner of all time, right? John Bones Jones. I get that. And Chuck Liddell. Nothing wrong with any of those guys on the list, but I just mentioned Khabib. Dana, might be the best I've seen. What about Anderson Silva? I mean, GSP, you left some guys off. Tell me why those four and not, say, the three I just mentioned.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You got to understand, I'll do one of these press tours and guys start asking me questions, and off the top of my head, all the great fighters that have fought in the UFC, you know, I got to crank this thing off the top of my head. I saw people talking about this. Plus, how many people can you have on the Mount Rushmore? I mean, if you look at Mount Rushmore, you know, there aren't 10 people on there. But yeah, there's no doubt Anderson Silva and Khabib both should be on there too.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.